Hey, welcome to another episode of the Bookpreneur. I'm your host, Audrey Bell-Kearney, the Bookpreneur. So glad to be here with you today. I'm excited because I've been working on my new venture. So for those of you who are new to the channel and don't know me, my name is Audrey Bell-Kearney. I'm an author. I've been one for 7 years. 7 years. I've been one since 1998. I've published between 7 to 8 books over the years. And now I'm working, and I've been a part of, I think, 3 or 4 anthologies and 7 or 8 books of my own. I've been a part of 3 or 4 anthologies, and now I'm going into the fiction space. Now, here's the thing, and I know I have to always do this disclaimer because I don't consider myself a writer in the common sense of the word. I have always been the person who has had great ideas, implemented those ideas in the business world, and people say, I want to do it, I want to do it. So to expand who I was, I wrote a book about it. So if you wanted to start a business, I wrote a book about that. If you want to write a book, I wrote a book about that. If you want to learn how to do video, I wrote a book about that. So I will always write these books because I'm just one person running my business, and then I'm also running a women's chamber of commerce. I'm the president of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. So for me, I can only be at one place at one time. Now with technologies like video and podcasting, it gives me a little bit more reach. But back then, it wasn't a whole lot of podcasting. People definitely wasn't talking about business and all that kind of stuff. So I had to figure out how to expand who I was, and I did that through writing books. So I've written about 7 or 8 books at this point, and I've been a part of 3 or 4 anthologies. I lose count. But now I'm moving into the fiction space. So I talked about that in a previous video. So if you did not see that video, go check it out. I talk about my journey into fiction. And I have this idea for a series of fiction books, right? Now, I definitely do not consider myself a fiction writer by no stretch of the imagination. And I don't even call myself a fiction writer. I call myself a fiction creator. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to leverage all of these smart tools to take what's in my head and put it into book format and then expand that into an even bigger format. So I wanted to share my plan with you for my books. So this is my thought, right? I'm going to leverage smart tools like AI to create a 7 book series based on something that's in my head. I kind of started this I had the idea, I wrote it down probably about 2019, I think it was. I had this idea, wrote it down in my head. So I had a bunch of ideas, but this one was pretty cool. And I had it and I wrote it down, but it was a little bit different. So I learned something about myself that I thought was pretty interesting. And I was like, wait a minute, I can kind of turn that into the thing that I was going to do in 2019, which it was going to be a film. It wasn't going to be a book. So I had this idea for this film. I got everything done. Got the script done and everything. A couple of ideas, as a matter of fact. I have about 4 film scripts that I actually have. I produced one. I produced a series called Campus Crime, a video series. So I've done that. That's under my belt. As a matter of fact, Campus Crime left off with a cliffhanger. So whenever I decide to go back and pick it up and do season 2 of Campus Crimes, I have it left it at a cliffhanger, right? So I'm not new to this. I'm not new to the media industry and all that stuff. I have produced a whole series called Campus Crimes. I produced a documentary. Now, granted, I was very green, didn't really know what I was doing, but I did it anyway. That's what I'm telling you. Whenever I set my mind to something, I'll just do it. And then people ask me how I do it, and I will write a book about it. So I produced I was the executive producer on a series called Campus Crime. I have scripts right now of things that I was going to turn into movies. Campus Crime was a 6 part series, and it was based around a college campus. That's why it's called Campus Crimes. And I left Campus Crime, episode number 6, left off with a cliffhanger. So if I ever decide to go back and pick Campus Crimes up, I can pick it up. Okay. But now, today, I'm going into fiction creating. I'm not even calling it fiction writing. I'm calling it fiction creating because I'm not writing fiction. I am prompting my GPT to write what I needed to write. That's what I'm doing. So I'm a prompt engineer. I'm prompting it to write what I want it to write. And I have this wonderful idea about this fantasy book series. It's a series of 7 books. And each one of those books is gonna build on the next, right? So I don't even know where the number 7 came from. I'm just gonna do a series of 7. But with every 7, every book is a movie. So my vision is to take every one of my books and turn it into a movie, every one of them. So it's a 7 series book. seven book series, right? I plan on taking each one of those books and turning it into a movie. So I'm excited about that because the first thing I'm going to do is do book number one. And then I have to figure out whether or not I want to start the movie for it right after I do it, or do I just want to do the whole book series? Now, what I love about AI is that it allows you to take your ideas and turn them into something. I am a analytical creator. That's what I am, right? And I didn't even know I was the analytical part. I always thought that I was just the creative part, right? But people tell me all the time, "You're so analytical," and I was like, "Me?" So they think that I'm analytical, but then I had to recognize that I really am. Like I couldn't. There's no way in the world that I could get all the things done, and I'm talking about there's a lot of them, all of them done, and just be a regular, like regular thinking person. But there's no way I could do that. So what I decided to do was when I had this idea was to create my 7-part series. I already have all of the titles. I already have all of the outlines for the chapters. So now it's just a matter of putting my first one together. Now, if you don't know how to do this with AI, it's pretty simple. As a matter of fact, probably the toughest part of even that is really getting the book edited. Like I have to, I'm gonna get the AI to write it for me based on my chapters and my input from each one of the prompts for the chapters, because each chapter has a prompt that goes with it. So the chapter title, and then it's talking about what the chapter is going to be about. But then I have specific things that I'm going to do in my book. I'm so excited because some of the things are very specific, and some of them are very centrally located to where I live. So all of that's going to be incorporated in my books. So I'm really excited about that, like places that I've gone, people that I've seen, things that have happened in my community. I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna kind of bake that into my book. So in order for the AI to know that, I have to tell it that. So even though I'm using AI to structure and to put it all together to make it make sense, right? Even though I'm doing that, I still have to tell it about the things that has happened in my life that makes me want to put this in a book. And there have been some really good things, some really bad things. That I'm going to put in there to make the story kind of shine. But I feel like it's gonna be my work with the help of AI. It's kind of like you write it and you give it to an editor. Well, I'm going to give my thoughts to the AI, and they're going to build on top of it. So it's going to be part fiction, part nonfiction, but more fiction than nonfiction. Well, not nonfiction. Probably won't be any nonfiction. It'll be more fiction than real fiction. I'm going to have a little bit of real fiction, but more regular fiction. So I'm excited about that. So write 7 books, create 7 books, turn each one of those books into a film, build a community around that because nothing happens without a community. So I already started the community. So what happened was back in 20, I think 19 or 2019, I started a podcasting group called the Podcast Posse. And on Meetup. So on Meetup, I have I think about 200 people in my Meetup and I don't do anything with the Meetup. I just go there and it just sits there and I pay every month. But what I decided to do was changed the name from Podcast Posse to Indie Creative Collective, right? Where it's a group of people, whether you're a podcaster, a musician, an artist, an author, we gotta all get together monthly and talk business, right? Talk business, have fun, do networking, have dinner at this place called Tacos and Tequila. And this is a real event. This is not something I'm making up. This is gonna be a real event. But for me, this is a way to build a community around what I'm doing. So I already have 200 people in that community already. Now I'm going to just keep on building it by having these events, author readings and things like that. I got 2 major events coming up. One is going to be in October, no, first week in November, I think. And then the next one, which is major, is going to be in April 2025, all around books. So, I have my plan about how I'm going to do this because I understand that I need community. I need content. I need a lot of content. I need content to go out on a regular basis. I need to be able to be around my peers. That's important. So I'm doing all of these things to make sure that my 7-book series is a success. If you go back and listen to the video I did on Sunday, don't watch the video. It's very grainy because of I don't know what happened. But my goal is to make my books Amazon and New York Times bestsellers. That's the goal. I saw someone the other day and they said something that caught my eye because it's based on something that I recently found out about myself. And I was shocked to hear them say what they said. And I was like, oh my God, like he believes what I believe. It was crazy, right? So the first book, I'm sending straight to him. Straight, like the first book that I published, I'm sending him a signed copy because I know he believes like I believe. And I heard him say it. And I don't hear regular people say it. I hear people that I've never seen and I don't know. This person I see all the time because he's famous. So for him to say the words his mouth that I just kind of found out who I am and a part of, I was like, wait a minute. That was exciting for me. His following is off the charts. He's famous. So when I heard him say that, I was like, okay, this is serendipity for me. This lets me know that I'm on the right track. This lets me know that what we're about to do is going to change, not just for fun, but it's going to change lives. Like it's not just like one of them things where the book is a book, it's fiction. It's really fiction, real life. It really is. It's like a whole group. It's a whole millions of people out there like me, that think like I think. It has nothing to do with politics, not even close. Has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with business, not even close. But you got to read the book to find out what it is. So the first book is going to be coming out probably the second week in September because I'll be working on. Listen, AI don't waste no time. It's and the second week in September is me wasting time, honestly. So I already know what I want to put down. I already have my book outlined. Now I have to just go back and figure out what I want each chapter to be about and who I want to include in that chapter and what location I want to include in it. It's almost like I'm doing like a scout for a film because I'm scouting out the places and the people that I want to be in my book. So I'm going to scout those out and then I'm going to feed it into the AI saying, okay, here you go. Here's chapter one. This is where they were. This is who was there. This is what happened. Make it into a story. It's that simple. It's that simple. And I know somebody said, oh, it's not that simple. It really is. So I'm excited. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you never miss an episode. And listen, if you trying to write your book and get it out there, if you've written a book and got it out there, be sure to go to the bookpreneur.com to subscribe to the newsletter. This way you never miss what's going on in my world and the book world. I got some big things coming up that includes any author. So that's coming up. So and I'll be talking about that as soon as I solidify some things. I got a big event. There's two big events that's coming up. And if it's something you want to be a part of, have the opportunity to do that. But in the meantime, I'm excited about my book. So I'll be working on that book all weekend. I'm going away for the weekend because it's Labor Day weekend. And of course, I'm supposed to be relaxing. However, I'm going to be working on my book. So by the second week in September, which is not very far away, it's what, 2.5 weeks, the book will be done and it'll be on Amazon and wherever else it's supposed to be. And I'm going to send a copy to that person I was telling you about. And I'll tell you about who it is once the book is done. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and go to bookpreneur.com to subscribe to the newsletter. Everything's free. It's all free. I'll be back again on another episode. So until next time, my friends, until